The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
1, 2, 3, 4. As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
And ecclesiastites all across the globe. Yes, indeed, it is I, your lovable host, coming to you live from the Bunker Eye studio, located somewhere within the great Granite State called New Hampshire. Yes, that is what they call the Granite State, or New Hampshire, they call it the Granite State. The surprising thing is evidently there's not a whole hell of a lot of granite. There's veins of it. But there's not a whole hell of a lot of it. But we seem to be able to get at what granite that we do have, usable granite. Now around here we have something that is called, it's a very utilitarian. They call it Concord Gray. There is an actual granite quarry within the city limits of Concord, New Hampshire. Yeah, Concord's a city of about 32,000 people. And it is the seat of government here in the state of New Hampshire. It's the capital. So from that 30,000 blooms to about 55,000 people every weekday, because all the state government offices are within the city. I mean, they're not. I don't think there isn't a government, a main government headquarters or building located outside of the city limits here. I mean, we've got, you got the main, I wouldn't call it a campus, but main cluster of buildings around the State House, which is right in downtown. And then you have an old campus. I mean, it looks like, if you were actually driving by and looking at it, you wouldn't recognize it to be a bunch of government buildings because they're all made of, red brick. It looks like either military or possibly even, some sort of hospital, mental hospital facility. There's a bunch of these buildings on one end of the city, and there's this campus, and they just built a new parking garage to handle all the cars and everything. So I mean, it looks kind of out of place with these old-fashioned brick buildings, but there's a whole bunch of brick buildings, and just looks like an old military installation, but it's the state government campus. And then there's a newer campus, although it's not that new, but it is a newer campus that's on the other end, in an area called Concord Heights area of Concord, that houses another state government campus. And it's a series of 5 or 6 or 7 buildings. Again, brick, but more modern looking. That's where the state police is headquartered, and our DMV, and a few other important areas. And then there's a very small, cluster of 3 buildings in another part of the city where the state, Department of Transportation is, which is, where the plows are and things like that. That is that headquarters. And I think the fire marshal is located over there in the cluster of 3 buildings. But they're all within the city limits of New Hampshire. So yeah, we grow tremendously. We bring in all the state employees, and of course, most of the state employees don't live within Concord, which is not a surprise, I suppose. But they commute into Concord every day, and it's a nightmare every morning. All the streets, all the traffic lights are geared toward getting people to government buildings. And there's this one place, I think it's an insurance company. I'm not sure. But there's a series of traffic lights that are really geared towards getting employees to that office campus of 2 buildings. And then at 4:30, it goes the opposite direction. So if you're trying to get past this light, it's ridiculous. But anyway, that's Concord. Now, I don't know what it's like. I mean, you probably have something similar in your state, which is pretty normal. I know New York State has a campus of a bunch of, high-rise buildings. Not New York City high-rise, but high-rise nonetheless. Multi-story buildings in a cluster. The buildings are clustered in what they would call a campus in Albany. I've been there. Went traipsing around there when I was in college as a chairman of the Student Aid Research Committee called SARC. We dealt with student aid back in the day, both on a federal and on a state level. And back then, the state pitched in quite a bit for different types of things. And I was a chairman of this committee. I was a representative. I was a senator, a student government senator, and I was the chairman of this committee. And it didn't have a whole hell of a lot of members. Yeah, it was exciting, talking about financing and of college and things. That nowadays is probably a lot more important than it was back then. But there were 6 of us. Now I don't remember exactly how many senators there were. It's like 40 or 50. But there were about 6 senators on this committee, and that was it. When we dealt with, I have no idea why they tapped me for it. They said, "Hey, we need somebody to lead because nobody on this committee wants to lead this committee. You want to lead this committee? You're a freshman senator. Lead it. What the hell am I supposed to do with it?" And they explained what it was. I said, "Oh, well, I have to be on a committee, so I guess so." And as soon as trust me, folks, yeah, I was in college government politics here. So as soon as I attended the first meeting with the other 6 senators on this committee, I quickly realized why the head of the student government body. I don't know what they called him. He wasn't the I guess majority. Well, it wasn't majority because we didn't have parties, but the Senate leader. Now I quickly realized why he. By the way, the student government president, while I was in college at this particular college, was a female, but the Senate leader was male, and I quickly realized why he wanted me to do. These guys didn't know what the hell they were doing. Not at all. But we quickly, I quickly learned what it was all about. I did, and the funny thing is I didn't need any type of government or state or federal government financing to go to college to be there. And most of those senators on that committee did go with government loans and other government financial assistance, and they didn't want to take the lead. So we went down. We were in Albany twice, campaigning and trying to be powerful little mouthpieces for the college aid sector back in the day. And we talked. That's when I realized I really didn't like politicians, because you got to talk to them, and of course they're aides, and they're you got to talk to their aides if you didn't get to talk to them. So we went up to Albany like 3 or 4 times. Took a road trip from Syracuse area, which is about, at that time when the speed limit was only 55. It took about 2.5 hours to get to Albany. Yeah, we still got there in 2 hours. Yeah, we didn't do 55. We didn't do 70 either. You did. If you did somewhere between 60 and 65, the state police left you alone. So we do a 2.5 hour trip in about just under 2 hours, and we did it 3 or 4 times, and each time it was just a nightmare. Not necessarily because of my fellow senators, but because of the BS, the bullshit that we had to go through. Oh yeah, our door. We always like to talk to our constituents. Our door is always open, and you try to utilize that open door policy, and you get there and you find out that the door may be open, but not the door to the senator. And there's you got to go through 5 doors. Now I'm not talking physical doors either. I'm talking about the gatekeepers. Oh, the senator is very busy. Well, we know the senator. We're busy too. So and we tried to influence a couple of a number of bills, but it was just and one of the things that I've always hated is when these guys, back then most of the state senators and state representatives back in the day were male, but what I hate, they were all like Chuck Schumer. They would be all pleasant in your face and smiling. Yeah, very glad to meet you. Yes, we understand. This is very important for students, and I think we should probably look into it. They never really give you a straight answer, but they made it sound like that they were on your side. And then you learned when they went to vote, they kicked you in the ass. But they smiled at you. And they shook your hand and looked you in the eye and said, yes, I understand. We're on your side. In other words, they smiled and lied to you. Directly to your face, looking you in the eye. This is why I don't trust most politicians. This is why I say Chuck Schumer's an evil elf. Because he will look you in the eye, give you that smile, and the worst part is that he's lying to you. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is he knows that you know he's lying. But he's still going to lie to you anyway and still expect you to believe him. He's expecting you to believe the lie, even though he knows that you know he's lying. Which is why he brings on that wry smile and drops those eyes and looks like an evil elf. I mean, and I experienced it firsthand all those years ago in student government in New York. Now, it's probably similar to your state capital as well, but the Chuck Schumer probably got one of the worst people at doing this was my own state representative Michael Bragman. Oh, he was the biggie. This guy was. You want to talk about local or state politicians on being as big as a national politician? This guy got into office, and you wouldn't believe the house that he owned. He had been the area representative, elected representative for a couple of decades. And he went from not being all that, wealthy to being he had one of the, he lived in not too far from me, actually. He lived out in Cicero, New York. Big, beautiful house that he built with all this open land. He bought the land around his house for a song. So a few years later, in the late 80s, he sold it off and made a housing development of other big houses, and made millions off of it. And everybody was wondering, how did Michael Bragman do that? Yeah, well, he had the inside scoop. So, I mean, it was just, it's till this day, it's still a big scandal. But everybody, Michael Bragman always came along with that big smile, even though you knew he was lying to you. It was all good because he came along with that big smile. He looked you right in the eye, and everybody, oh, Michael Bragman, he's for Onondaga County, and he's for our district in the county, and he loves everybody in the county. And he was just screwing everybody in the county over and over. Every once in a while, he'd really try to do something good, and then people would praise him for it. Oh, Michael Bragman bought some bacon, money to the county. Isn't that wonderful? No, it's not wonderful because somehow he got his grubby little hands on some of that money. But so dealing with these people firsthand, I realized there's no way in hell I want to be a part of this pit of vipers. So I've never really, outside of college, I've never had any ambition for being in public politics at all. As far as being an elected official, which is why every time I'm asked here in this state, I turn them down. I've been asked a few times, hey, you should run. No, not interested. Now, I haven't really petitioned any of the, New Hampshire state represent, and the difference between New York and New Hampshire is New Hampshire, they're part-time. New York, they're like Massachusetts and most other states, are full-time. But New Hampshire, they're in fact, they only get about $100 to $200 a year in salary. The state senators and state representatives, that's what they get. You want to talk about part-time? That's all they get. That's what hey, and you know what? We have one of the most, we're rated one of the most efficient state governments in the country. And our state is run by a bunch of part-time amateurs. Maybe our founders knew exactly what they were doing when they meant for all of this stuff to, all governance except for the president to be part-timers. Yeah, so you go to Washington, you do your job there, and then you go home. You don't hang around. And you don't use it as a career. Maybe our founding fathers knew what they were doing back then, because we're still doing it here in New Hampshire, and we're doing it better than almost every other state in the union.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Yes, we are in that time of the year, that wonderful season where people tend to be just a little bit nicer to one another. And they tend to show a little bit more love towards their fellow man. And that is all simply because it's a time of year that's wrapped up in basically in a single baby. It's what we're celebrating, the birth of Jesus Christ as a baby. And that's what this next Christmas song is all about, all wrapped up in a baby boy by the Chrysages Brothers. Give a listen.
All wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in word in all of the sages, each line on all of the pages. Canceled sin and its wages, unlock all of our cages. The hope of all of the ages, all wrapped up in a baby boy. The midnight birth in a manger, entranced, chock full of danger. God is the maker and changer. He welcomes every stranger. The life and death rearranger, all wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. God enters his own creation, love's ultimate mediation. Because of his incarnation, now there is no condemnation. Desire of all of the nations, all wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. God's word in all of the sages, each line on all of the pages. Canceled sin and its wages, unlocked all of our cages. The hope of all of the ages, all wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. Wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. Baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy. Baby boy. All wrapped up in a 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 baby. All wrapped up in a baby. He's the light, the hope, the truth, and the way. All wrapped up in a baby. All wrapped up in a baby boy. All wrapped up in a baby boy.
All wrapped up in a baby boy by the Chrysages Brothers. That is what this season is really all about. And make no doubt about it at all that if this isn't, if it wasn't, I mean, Jesus is the reason for the season. Plain and simple. You might think, well, it's not a Christian holiday anymore. Yeah, it still is. Sorry, but it still is. In any case. Hey, Merry Christmas to you. I still say Merry Christmas to everybody. I know, you want to piss off a Muslim? Walk up to him and be sincere. I mean, don't do it just to goad him, but well, you are going to goad him, but just be sincere. Say Merry Christmas to him. Watch him flip out on you. It's an amazing sight. I'm beside myself with the left, embracing Islam. They're supposed to be, well, the left is not about tolerance and acceptance anyway. It's the intolerant party. Democrats, if you're a liberal Democrat, you're intolerant. You're a bigoted a-hole, plain and simple. There's no other way to put it. Because you embrace everything and everybody that is so intolerant. The only people that you claim that you don't like are skinheads and KKK members, even though half your party is made up of these members. I mean, seriously. The Democrat Party has got more current and former KKK members, Klan members, and skinhead members than the Republican Party does. But the Republican Party is a racist party. Yeah, I don't know how that comes about. Maybe we're racist because we don't allow for that other kind of crap in our party. We don't allow for racists. So that makes us intolerant, I guess.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Yeah, we keep hearing, yesterday I saw a couple of scenes about the Alabama election, and it looks like Judge Roy Moore has finally conceded to Jones. Well, it's better late than never, I guess, but it was amazing. I think CNN, you had some reporter literally cheering on the air. Happy days are here again. There was a female reporterette. It was on CNN. I just saw the clip of it where she was actually dancing in her seat, doing a little jig in her seat, saying, happy, really? You don't even live in Alabama. How is it a happy day? We'll get into that. The reason is it's a happy day for them is because they believe, they want you to believe, they're going to try to spin it so others will believe that it's a slam against Trump, that Trump is now losing support finally after 10 months of after a year, because he was elected a little over a year ago. So after a full-on year of presidential political news hackery bashing of the president, they think they finally got him. Yeah, anyway, well, we'll get into that a little bit as the program unfolds this morning. Up next, however, is something that I said it would be coming our way, is actually now beginning, and I reported this earlier this year about, and it's finally come to fruition. Norway becomes the first country to switch off FM radio. I've been telling people that radio is dying. By the way, for you royal watchers, Prince William and Princess Kate will visit Norway in February. If you're going to be in Norway, what happens in Norway? I know Sweden is having a terrible time with their so-called refugee population problem. Sweden, fairly honest country. Not a lot of crime going on in Sweden. And all of a sudden they're getting slammed with murders and rape in Sweden. And people are getting tired. And even the Swedish government is saying, okay, now we got to get rid of some of these refugees because they're just taking. Well, the problem with Sweden is now don't take this the wrong way, people. But Sweden is a country that has an affinity towards dark people. Now, I don't, physically, skin tone dark. They like blacks and they like people from Africa and they like American blacks. Because Sweden is full of a bunch of blonde-haired, pale-skinned, blue-eyed people. Well, it is. I have a first cousin, who's lived in Sweden for decades. I mean, he's married to a beautiful Swedish woman, has two gorgeous daughters. And, my second cousin, beautiful girls. With that, the African American and the Swedish mix has turned out a couple of gorgeous little girls there. And they're going to be some heart. But I'm glad. Well, it's too bad he's got girls. That's all I can say, because he's gonna be a busy dad. But hey, he's pretty intimidating because JD is like what is he, 6'6"? Yeah, 6. He's like my brother-in-law. My sister's husband's like 6'6" too. He's just but he's a lot. But my brother-in-law is also a former Marine. So and I've got two nieces by them, and my eldest niece, I guess, now she's 14 years old, has a boyfriend, and when my brother-in-law, Daddy, found out about it, he was a little bit more than shocked, according to my mother, and I believe it too. But and I had to pull my niece aside. I said, "Well, is he a nice boy? Let me see a picture of him." And he looks like a nice kid. He looks a little dorky. So that's fine. That's fine. I mean, he's a handsome young man, but 14, just like her, 14, the same class. Both of them are freshmen. And I said, "Do I have to talk to this guy?" And she's, "Uncle Rod, no, Dad already did." Well, I'm not only your uncle, I'm your godfather, so it's my duty. We should have a meeting up to set up with this kid. And she's like, no, you cannot. You can't. So anyway, it is started in my family, dating. But it is what it is. In any case, Norway becomes the first country to switch off FM radio. Yeah, it's all going digital. So radio as we know it here in this country, radio is dying. Now, we have a number of different, radio is also big business here in this country. And, in other countries, it's more about public information, because in some places, they have one TV station, maybe if they get it. Radio's for public safety. Radio's for governmental information, that kind of. It's for entertainment, but it's also for information. In this country, radio is primarily for entertainment, and so you have a bunch. Well, just got the story here. Fox, 20th Century Fox, being sold to Disney. We'll get into that why that is not such a good thing, and why a lot of people are upset with Murdochs. But in any case, so Norway on yesterday, completed its transition to digital radio, becoming the first country in the world to shut down national broadcast of its FM radio network, despite some grumblings. Now, in this country, it's not going to happen anytime soon, because radio has a big money presence on Capitol Hill. These make a lot of money. Even these small independent radio stations there's one in here in Brattleboro, Vermont. The guy does pretty well. There's a lot of automation. It's a lot easier to run a radio station today with all the automation tools and computers and everything. But one of the reasons why certain countries want to move into the digital realm is because the signals are clearer, go farther. And it's cheaper to broadcast digital versus FM. And FM signal, in other words, takes less energy too. Well, that's the main reason behind it takes less energy. But the country's most northern regions and the Svalbard archipelago in the Arctic switched to digital audio broadcasting, DAB, in the late morning yesterday. Said Digital Radio Norge. DRN, which groups Norway's public and commercial radio. Now, the transition, which began back on January 11th of this year, allows for better sound quality, a greater number of channels, and more functions, all at a cost 8 times lower than FM radio, according to authorities. Now, the only problem is that people now have to go out. Well, we did it with TV, did we not? So it's not, we can't do that here. Yeah, we can. We did it with television. Remember that when we made the switch to all digital? So you had to go out and buy one of those antennas, or you had to, if you had an old TV, you had to go buy one of those digital antennas. The government wasn't the government giving them away for a little while? You could actually get or reduce cost, like $50. It was still $50 for one of these things. And now most people don't even use them. And so if you still had rabbit ears, then you would have to get this digital antenna thing that would pick up the digital signal and then allow your TV to pick up the signal. you turn digital into analog. I mean, not everybody wanted to go out and buy a new TV, and not everybody could get cable or satellite. So they made those special antennas available. Well, obviously this is not happening in Norway. If you don't have a digital radio, then you got to go out and get one to the tune of a 1 to 200 euros, which is in American dollars. That's up to $250, $300. Oh, I'm sorry, it's euros. No, it's not. If it was British pounds, it'd be a different story. It'd be 100, 250 or so. But 100 to 200, it's about $200 for a radio. I get why people might be upset. Currently, fewer than half of the motorists in Norway, just 49%, are able to listen to DAB in their cars. But if they're anything like Americans, the number of Americans actually listening to the radio, AM, FM, is dropping quickly. Because more and more people are listening to things like satellite radio or their iPod or their phone or some app that allows them to to listen to a station of their choice. So it's the direct local broadcasting of radio is on the decline, not on the rise. Now, I know you hear all sorts of things about, well, radio's important, radio's this. I understand that. I'm in the business. I get it. But local radio is actually on the decline because more and more people are turning it off because it sucks. I mean, I listen to radio stations and the radio personalities. These people are awful. Just shut up and play the music. And even the music is awful. Well, not necessarily because they're, because of the art, the music artists are terrible. I mean, a lot of them are, but they play the worst of the same songs over and over again. I mean, it's like this continual loop. How many times in 1 8-hour day can you hear the same Beyonce song? This is not a new phenomenon. I remember when I had just gotten out of high school, and I worked for this builder. What they made was roof trusses. That's all they made was roof trusses. We made roof trusses. That was it. We didn't make anything else for roof trusses for residential and commercial buildings. We didn't do a damn thing else. All we did was make roof trusses. And of course, back then the guys listened to I think it was 95X radio. And I remember the Free Falling was a hit at that. Well, this gives you a time frame, I guess, of dating myself. But Free Falling, everybody loved by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Tom Petty, of course, recently passed away, but it was an okay song. But in that 8-hour work period, I swear to God, you heard that song at least 5 times, almost every other hour. How many times are you going to play the same damn song? Well, the looping has got even worse, which is why you have some radio stations that now around here anyway that say, well, we play everything. They don't play the same song in the same 12-hour period. It only plays once. Well, that's a good thing, because as much as I like a song, I don't want to hear it 4 or 5 times in a day. And if it's a bad song, which most of them are, and they even get on this loop where they'll play an old, we've got some what they call, the hip hop stations around here, which is out of Boston, I think 96 point something, and 90. The funny thing is that a newer station, I think it was 96 point something. They came into being and quickly took over Hot 90. Was it Hot 94? Hot 94.5 was the number one hip hop and R&B station, and then this new 96 station came along, and over the course of about 2 years, 96 absconded with 94.5's on-air talent. I'm not kidding. It was the funniest thing. But then it ended up, well, it's the morning show especially, it ended up where they took this arrogant piece of crap. I never did like Romero. So if anybody in New England knows, they know the name what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's such an arrogant idiot. And I think he was the lead, believe it or not, although it was called, the Ramiro Show, whatever, with Ramiro and Pebbles, he was the least popular personality on the station. There are a lot of people that I talked to didn't like Ramiro, but they liked 94.5 for whatever reason. But they played the same thing over and over again. Even the same classic hip-hop. All they kept playing was Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. over and over. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Man's been dead for, like 20 years. And you're playing all his songs from the 1990s and you're playing them, over every hour? Give me a break. This is this looping stuff. But then 96.7? I don't know. The new station for hip-hop and R&B, whatever. They hired, when they got started, and they made the switch over to this, because I think it used to be a country and western station. They made the switch over, and they hired Pebbles the Ramiro and Pebbles show. They hired Pebbles along with another personality over there. And then the other personality, after about a year, they got rid of him, kept Pebbles, and it became Pebbles. And they had other people from the Ramiro and Pebbles morning show that were also now over on 96. And then just last year, I think, 94.5 didn't re-up Ramiro's contract, so Ramiro quit. And I think last year, about a year ago, they hired 96.5 or whatever, hired Ramiro. I'm like, are you kidding? I used to like to, every once in a while, if I was up and moving around, and I listened to the morning show with them, and then they added Ramiro, and I stopped listening. It's just ridiculous. I don't like the guy. I think he's overly arrogant. He tries to make it seem like it's just an act, but no, it's really him. He's not all that. And I don't even, for one guy to another, I don't even think he's all that good looking. But it's big business. Radio is big business in this country. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to get these people off of this stuff but it is fragmenting more and more. And I think Norway recognizes this. And what you have is a number of other countries that are looking to converge or convert over, because you have countries like Switzerland, Denmark, and you're thinking, oh, those are small countries. How about Britain? Yes, the entire Kingdom of Britain. Not just England or the UK, but Britain. I've tried to explain that before to people, what Britain is. Great Britain. There are three entities when it comes to England. You have England itself. Then you have the United Kingdom. Now, the United Kingdom is the British Isles, which would be England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. And there's something else in there, too, from off the British, in the British Isles. But it consists of those. That's the United Kingdom. Britain is everything else, all included, that the British have control over, all over the planet. That is Great Britain. So you can't be a United Kingdom, but you can be English or Scottish or Welsh or Irish, but you're also British. Okay, well, a lot like United States. So there you have it. Goodbye to radio, possibly.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, But now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
That there is something out there called the Big Mac Index. Yeah, I didn't know that either. But evidently, this is another way of figuring out the value of various currencies across the planet. This index was created in 1986, and it was created as a lighthearted way to gauge purchasing power and to try to help the world bring some purchasing power parity to all of their currencies. So the Big Mac, basically the Big Mac Index, it compares the cost of McDonald's Big Mac burger sandwich in various countries across the globe. They're using, right now if you use the base rate here in the USA, it shows that the Big Mac in the USA, it's $5.06. How much is a Big Mac? I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I can't remember the last time I had a Big Mac. I don't know what it costs, but I know it doesn't cost $5.06. I mean, that's just, why do they come up with these stupid numbers? Where do they get these numbers like this? You walk in it's going to be like $4.95. Are they tossing on the tax? That could be. To get an average price of $5.06. But anyway, so the average price in the USA is $5.06. However, in Switzerland, the average cost of a Big Mac is $5.67, meaning that the kroner, which is a Swedish currency, Swedish dollar basically, is overvalued by 12% based on this. Yeah, so it's going to cost you 12% more over there in Switzerland for a Big Mac than here in the United States. That's the Big Mac Index.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do. I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Yes, indeed, I am your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live once again from the Bunkerized Studio, located somewhere within the great Granite State of New Hampshire, where on this Thursday, December, not January yet, December number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017, which means you have about, 11 days? You got 11 days left before Christmas. Yeah, we're counting down here. You better get your act together if you haven't even started. Only 11 days left. Come on now. Get going. Contribute to the economy by doing your purchasing of, over-commercialized Christmas gifts for everyone on your Christmas list. And if you have a short Christmas list, try expanding it. By the way, might I encourage you, this Friday, I think, is a deadline in many places for donating to Toys for Tots, the Marines Toys for Tots program. Now, I donate a toy or two every year to Toys for Tots. And it's kind of amazing that when the economy heats up, for some reason, donations go down, but there's still a need for donations, people. So may I suggest that when it doesn't have to be anything big, you can drop off your toys. It's very easy at the toy store that you're buying them from, like Toys R Us. Go into Toys R Us. You can even use Toys R Us coupons. They're all over the place. You can get them online. You can get them in your newspaper, what have you. Buy something that is just that is, you might want to buy a gift for a boy and a girl. I usually do that. I don't know a lot I usually have to ask my nieces what girls like. So, but pick something that's under 10. Everybody can afford something. Well, just about everybody can afford a gift under $10. Yeah, they have stuff at Toys R Us you could buy for under 10. Even if it's just, a little bit of Barbie stuff, or if it's Matchbox or Hot Wheels cars, you can do that. And donate to the Toys for Tots campaign. It's an important thing. And the deadline for donating in many places, in many states or municipalities, is tomorrow. So please go out there today and tomorrow, and even if it's just, as I said, even if it's just a Matchbox or a Hot Wheels car for a couple of bucks, you can make a poor, disadvantaged child or a child whose father was killed in action or on duty in the military a little bit brighter this year. It's really inexpensive. Do that for me, please, will you? I don't want to beg people to do stuff, but you know it's the right thing to do, and it's through the Marines, so it's not some sort of scam charity. Like the Clinton Foundation. This is the real deal. They've been doing this for years and years and years and years. The Toys for Tots campaign through the Marines it's a brilliant idea. It has made a lot of underprivileged and war-affected children. It's made their day, their holiday. So I shouldn't stop. We shouldn't use the term underprivileged because everybody's got the same privilege here. We're Americans, but it's for you can call them disadvantaged. Their parents don't earn much money, what have you. But it's to help brighten a child's Christmas morning. And I know I say Christmas isn't all about the presents, but it's about the giving. Christ gave everything. The least you can do is spend a few bucks giving to another human being. And doing it through Toys for Tots, you can't go wrong doing that. Again, the deadline for many places is tomorrow. You might want to check your local Toys for Tots campaign to see when your deadline is. But in most places, it is tomorrow, which is Friday, December 15th. So just go to your piggy bank or whatever, get out a few. What's a Matchbox card cost today? A couple bucks? I mean, seriously. I mean, you're in the store anyway. Just add the stupid car. I'm on a budget. Come on. The economy's starting to boom. People's incomes, their salaries are starting to real wages are starting to rise again. More and more, there are fewer people on unemployment. So we're doing a lot better this year than we were last year. So, just think about somebody who doesn't have what you may have. Even if you look, I've often heard of people, that don't have a lot. And I mentioned Matchbox. I didn't come up with this idea of the Matchbox car. 2 years ago, I heard this. There was a person. This kind of breaks your heart. This person they were having a tough time economically speaking, but they didn't want to disappoint their children. They had 3 boys. So they had $50 to spend among 3 boys for Christmas, $50. And they still donated to 2 kids. You know what they bought? They bought Matchbox cars. Because their whole saying was, we may not have a lot, but there are children out there that have less than we do. And we just want to bring a smile to their face. So they bought 2 Matchbox cars. Your budget's only $50. I mean, she took basically $5 out of that budget and bought 2. Come on. You can do the same thing. That's all it takes. You'd be surprised how little it takes to bring joy to a kid who has very little or nothing. So when you're out there shopping, it doesn't even, you can find Matchbox. You don't even have to go to Toys R Us. They're just about little cars like that. They don't even have to be called Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels. There's a bunch of different brands out there, and you can find them just about anywhere you go. Anywhere there's toys, you can probably find a miniature car like that. And that actually works for boys or girls. More boys than girls, but it actually can work for girls too. Other than that, if it's not Barbie, or Barbie stuff, I don't know what you get a girl. I don't. I'm not a girl. Never wanted to be a girl. Not a transitional girl. Not a transgendered girl. I got to ask my nieces what girls like today. I have no idea. If it's outside of the doll realm, Barbies and stuff, I don't know. I know that there are people that are out there that throughout the entire year they gather like bikes and stuff like that, like bikes, and they refurbish them and repair them and fix them and donate them. Maybe you can do that for next year. If you don't want to spend money like this, maybe you can just spend a little bit of your time over the summer, winter and summer, and get stuff like that. And you can, you don't even have to buy. You can go to your local salvage yard or recycling center and pick up stuff like this. I mean, I often see them, and I see people coming by and picking them up. And I know some people they fix them up and sell them, but a lot of people take bikes and other toys that are repairable and refurbishable, make them look like new again, and then donate them. So you can do that for next year. You can't do that through Toys for Tots. They basically like you to buy a toy so it's in its original package and donate it. But you can otherwise donate your gifts anyway. But don't forget, tomorrow is the deadline for Toys for Tots in most jurisdictions, most locations, December 15th. So even if it's, as I said, even if it's just a little itty-bitty Matchbox car or whatever the big car thing is today, for a couple of bucks, one or two of those would make a kid's Christmas morning a lot more enjoyable. So think about that, folks. Anyway, back to, this Big Mac thing. They have indexes all. The reason why they have these types of things is to try to show the disparity between countries. So, and I've often said that Americans have to be careful when we talk, because charities play on this. Oh yeah, this they make $5 a day in this country. How terrible is that? Well, in Bangladesh, it's not so terrible. $5 a day, because of the cost of living there, is actually middle class in Bangladesh. What do you mean it's middle class? You can't make it. You can't live on $5. Well, yeah, you can. When a loaf of bread might only be 10 cents. Remember, there was a time in this country when people people had mortgages on their houses that were $30 to $50 a month. People would pay like $10 a week for rent. So some of these countries, and this, we're talking the early half of the 20th century, 1900 to 1950. So these countries like Bangladesh are now where we were at that particular point in time. So yeah, $5 a day. If you made $100 a month back in 1910, you were well in the middle class. I mean, you can afford to buy a car. So this is an attempt to bring some parity, to see where people actually are based on their economies and their valuations of things. I get it. It attempts to do it. It doesn't do it. They're using Big Macs as the way to. I mean, is there a McDonald's in Bangladesh? McDonald's aren't all in every country, but I get it. It's a way to do this. And they even did you know that Venezuela has McDonald's? I didn't know that. I guess Hugo Chavez may have liked McDonald's, Big Macs or something. I don't know. But they track this in a number, this Big Mac, wherever there's a McDonald's and they sell Big Macs, they track this Big Mac index thing. And believe it or not, there are countries that actually, based on the value of their currency compared to ours, there are a lot of countries where the Big Mac is actually cheaper than it is here. So what's that tell you? We're being charged more in the USA for unhealthy food. Well, that's typical. Well, Well, no, actually, it's not typical. It's usually cheaper, right? We think it's cheap, but evidently, it's Big Macs are cheaper in many other countries. Well, I guess they just McDonald's wants to make sure that they get people hooked onto the Big Mac and the bad food, the bad for you food. Because in this country, especially in this country, the more natural something is, the less additives, the less processing, the less somebody has to do to the food to get it to you, the more they charge you for it. Hey, if you just want to go to a grocery store and get, I don't know, like say crispy peas, those crispy pea snacks, well, that'll cost you an arm and a leg. There's no processing. All they do is bake them, add a little sea salt, and throw them in a bag. Oh, but you want those delicious whatever pop potato chip thingies where they got to take the potato, they got to grind up the potato, they got to add all this other additives to the potato, and then they got to fry it, then bake it, then salt it, over-salt it, add artificial flavoring to it in order to bring it back, make it palatable, and then package it. And that crap is cheap. That's $1 a bag. But you want to buy the healthy peas, which all they are is peas and a little bit of sea salt, and that'll be $5 a bag. Yeah. So you go to McDonald's, you go for you get something that's unhealthy, you can get it off the menu, for $5 or $6, value meal. You want something healthy like a salad, just a bunch of leaf lettuce. That's all it is. Oh, that salad alone will cost you $5. So here in this country, the healthier you go, the more expensive it is. But in other countries, I guess, the healthier you go, the cheaper it gets. So it's more expensive to go out there and buy a Big Mac than it is to buy, something healthy. But we don't have the cheapest bad, cheap food in the world, evidently. There are other countries like Brazil and even France where it's cheaper. Guess they just want to get them hooked.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you.
about as far as we can throw you.
Holly and the Ivy. Next up in this Christmas song is by thanks to She and Him. Yeah, that's the name of the duo. And here is their little ditty. See if you recognize this tune.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to
The Christmas Song by She and Him. Or should I say She ampersand Him. Thanks so much for them sending over that. Very talented couple there. Duo. I don't know if they're a couple. I didn't look into their history. But you may want to look them up. She and Him. The Christmas song. The Chestnut Song. I saw some chestnuts when I was in New York City. They had them. They had them actually out on the street vendors. I got to tell you, I'm not sure I'd buy any of those and eat them. No, just for the way they had them displayed and out. Nah. In that crowd, no, wouldn't eat them. Hey, Connecticut. Connecticut is having some troubles. Connecticut is the poster child for what happens when you tax people and companies too much and they leave your state. Yes, Connecticut, already strapped, is coming up short yet again halfway through their budget year. The sales and income tax revenues have come in at about $208 million under projections. Hey, let's raise taxes. They did that, and they still are $208 million short. Because people and companies are leaving Connecticut. They're leaving because they don't want... Can you believe... There are companies that are moving to Massachusetts, just across the border in Connecticut, up north, just to Massachusetts. Why? Because in the great state of Taxachusetts, it is now getting cheaper to relocate and do business and live in Massachusetts than it is in Connecticut. And they don't call it Taxachusetts for nothing. I'm not kidding. Connecticut is once again coming up short on cash, and its rainy day fund is already strained and just about depleted. Halfway into the budget year, sales and income tax have come in at about $208 million under projection. This comes after lawmakers enacted deep spending cuts, raised fees even on motor vehicle registrations, and required teachers to contribute more to their pensions. So they've increased the cost of living for people. They've raised taxes. They've cut their spending, and yet they're still coming up short. And it's cheaper for these people to live in Massachusetts now. Go figure.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey.
Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You know, the so-called victory in Alabama can actually backfire on the Democrats, as much of this stuff is already starting to do. I mean, the whole Russian collusion thing has backfired on them big time, even though they're only because they have the media in their corner, has nobody yet gone to jail on the Democrat side. I'm being serious with that. But there's another issue. This Alabama thing. I mean, the Democrats are trying to take the high road. We got rid of John Conyers and Al Franken, although Al Franken is still there. We got rid of John Conyers and Al Franken because we cannot have this sexual impropriety, people doing sexual impropriety stuff. We got rid of, a bunch of our big Democratic donors like Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein and his brother, was it John Weinstein? We got rid of them. So we can't. We're now purifying ourselves. Well, now that means that if they're going to take this this morality high road, there are other Democrats, big Democrats, whose head should be on the chopping block. Then there are other big Democrats. The Democrats they don't get it yet. They're blinding hatred for Donald Trump. Now, understand, folks, the Democrats have never really liked conservatives. Liberals in this country have never really liked conservatives. And there's been this perpetual good versus evil type of battle going on between conservatives and liberals for decades in this country. Now, there's this equilibrium that one can't, really beat the other. There's always going to be good. There's always going to be evil. And there's this balance. There's this equal. We even had movies about we got to keep the equilibrium. You can't have something that's too good, can't be too evil. It's got to be balanced, right? So we've always had this sort of balance, this uneasy balance between conservative and liberal. Sometimes the liberals win, sometimes the conservatives win. But nobody ever seems to have a lopsided advantage for too long. I mean, the Democrats and the liberals, they had the White House, they had the Senate, and they had the House of Representatives all at one time, but only for 2 years. It was only 2 years before the American people decided that was enough. And they gave the House, at least, to the Republicans, and then a few years later, they gave the Senate over to the Republicans. And now we've got the White House. So will the White House and the Senate and the House of Representatives are all Republican, but it's not fully conservative. I mean, we've got so many GOPers in there that are fighting Donald Trump. So will the American people will they give equilibrium back? And some people are saying that the Senate is going to return to the Democrat hands in 2018. I don't foresee that. And especially with this win in Alabama. Why do I say that? Well, because the Democrats are now saying that they're taking the high moral road, which they've never done that before. Democrats have said a lot of things that they try to be fair, they're for the poor and all this kind of, but they have never, ever really tried to take the high moral ground on anything substantial. It's always been Republicans and conservatives that have done that. And the Democrats have always denigrated that. Oh, your supposed high moral stature. You hate poor people because of your high moral stature. You're hypocritical over there. It's what they've always said about the right. They've always said, they've convicted the people on the right on that notion. You're hypocritical. You hate the poor. You like to see the poor diet go up. All this kind of BS. And now the Democrats are embroiled in this sexual harassment. I mean, every single day there's a new accusation coming out and that's very damning against somebody. And we've had a number of, what are we up to, 8 now on Al Franken? What are we up to? 6 on John Conyers. I know John Conyers is gone, so we stopped hearing about him. We got up to 8 on Al Franken before he decided to resign without resigning. So we stopped hearing about him. But of course, the Democrats, they pounded this. Well, this guy, Judge Roy Moore, 9 women accused him of doing this kind of stuff back in the 70s. 38, 30, 35, 38, 40 years ago. Nothing since then, but they accused him of doing this all these years ago. When he was in his late 20s and early 30s, he was wanting to date 16-year-olds. Evidently, that was pretty much the norm. Pretty normal in Alabama back in those days. Okay, say what you want to say, but okay, that was the culture. They were saying that this is, you got to get rid of Roy Moore because we're taking the moral high ground here. Well, this is going to bite them because there are a number of people that are having some, shall we say, morality issues. So the Dems are throwing down this zero tolerance. Hey, Republicans. But by the way, the Republicans turned their back on Roy Moore, which is why he lost. I mean, even are we forgetting? Is the lamestream media forgetting that Mitch McConnell said that Roy Moore will never serve a day, even if he's elected, and that even the state GOP was looking at ways of nullifying the election if Roy Moore were to win? I remember this last month, November. They were all saying this stuff. So I guess you could say that there was zero or no, even. A favored child, he's not a child, he's in his 30s, but a favored child, Ben Shapiro on the right, was saying that Roy Moore should, because the allegations were credible, he needed to get out of the race. Ben Shapiro was calling for him to get out of the race since, basically since day one. And I don't agree with him on that, but okay. So the Republicans, in a way, did take the high moral ground. And the Democrats were trying to pound the Republicans for not being as full of high moral standards that all of a sudden the Democrats were. Because the Democrats were now about zero tolerance. They were coming on. It took them a while to come on board, but they were now coming on board. And they were getting rid of all these people, including some of their biggies, like John Conyers. Well, he was 88 years old and on out the door anyway. And Al Franken. Well, Al Franken, it was said that was going to be in trouble. He could have been primaried in Minnesota, his next run-up in 2020, I do believe. So there was that wasn't a big loss for them either. But now eyes are being turned on another big Democrat by the name of Senator Menendez. Yes. Capitol Hill Democrats got a workout from patting each other on the backs for Doug Jones's victory in Alabama yesterday, or earlier this week. But Washington Post editor James Downey, Downie, issued a challenge to their newfound outrage over unseemliness in public officials. Now that Al Franken and John Conyers have gotten the boot, Downey argues that it's time to push Robert Menendez out the door, too. RM needs to go. The allegations, the credible allegations that are embroiling this man are far more worse and serious than anything that the truthful allegations against, potentially truthful allegations against Judge Roy Moore. Now, we know some of those allegations have been proven false, fake, even by some of the women who've accused him of certain things have even come out and said, well, yeah, I kind of faked this. So not all the allegations on Moore are actually, potentially truthful. I was 14 years old when Judge Roy Moore. Well, the funny thing is, he wasn't a judge then. Yeah, I know the little facts mean a lot. The details mean a lot, and there's not. If you look at the details for most of these allegations from these women and more, you know that they're lying because the details prove that they're lying. He wasn't a judge back in the 70s. There was no mall that they talk about back in the 70s. There a particular road that one of the girls says, one of the ladies now says that Moore drove her down, didn't exist back then either. So the little details mean a lot. But the details on Menendez are big details, and they seem to be credible and truthful. So the gauntlet has been thrown down that says that Democrats should not wait for a new jury or ethics committee investigation. The known facts are damning and damaging enough for them to demand that Robert Menendez resign his senatorial seat. Some of the alleged favors for Melgen, Melgen, were relatively small potatoes, such as securing visas for Melgen's friends. There were other things, introducing or intervening, asking favors of the State Department to assist Melgen in a dispute over a $500 million contract with the Dominican government. The New Jersey senator also allegedly pressured the Department of Health and Human Services to resolve a $9 million billing dispute in Melgen's favor. In testimony, then HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius described an unusual meeting with Menendez and Senator Harry Reid. But Reid is also out the door. He's retiring, remember? I understood he wanted me to do something, she said. It should be noted that Melgen has been convicted of 67 charges of Medicare fraud. Prosecutors estimate that the doctor's scheme swindled the government out of as much as $105 million. In no way is this conduct becoming of a senator, but nobody's calling for the resignation of Menendez. But there are other senators, Democrats. There are other representatives, Democrats, that have similar stuff going on. Will the Democrats be so easy and eager to kick them under throw them under the bus and kick them out and ask for their resignation? No. Why? Because it's going to hurt their party overall. You see, winning the seat in Alabama is a trade-off for losing Al Franken. And frankly, with Al Franken's resignation, it is highly possible that in 2020 that the seat will flip to a Republican. Which is why they invested so much in Alabama to get Jones elected. They figured, well, at least we can just trade it off. We won't lose a net seat in the end. But if we lose Menendez and if we lose Harry Reid early, we could lose those seats, would give us a negative. In other words, the Republicans would gain some seats. So this is all, they're playing politics. Their high road is a low road, actually. Don't doubt me on this, folks. They were, Democrats are some of the, they're being like big high roller gamblers in Las Vegas. They're playing the numbers. Well, you know, Conyers is 88. He was on his way out anyway. You know, either health was gonna force him out, his mental capacity was gonna force him out, or you know he was just gonna die. One way or the other, he was out. Maybe he would have been, if he hung around, maybe he would have been reelected in 2018, but he wouldn't probably serve out his entire term, which is why he went so easily. They just looked at John, man, you're 88, dude. Just time to hang it up, man. You had a wonderful long run. Dude, but we need your help here. You're not effective anymore. Come on, you're 88. You sound like you're 188. Literally, I mean, he sounds terrible. John Conyers. He sounds terrible. You know, do one for the Gipper and just bow out gracefully now. That was no big deal. He was on his way out anyway. So they didn't really lose anything there. And then the Al Franken thing. Well, geez, Al, these women just keep coming forward, man. You know, we don't want to lose this seat, so can you at least say that you're going to resign before this, that'll give us some strength in Alabama if you say you resign. And yeah, that's what he did. He fell halfway on the sword for the Democrats on that one. And so now the Democrats are claiming that they're driving down the high road of morality now because they defeated, using the high road, they defeated the low road Judge Roy Moore. But they're forgetting that this is all phony. This is all fake because they're not giving their newly found high road morals serious consideration when it comes to some of their other more prominent figures in Washington, D.C. swamp. Specifically speaking, Menendez. Now this guy's looking at all if we're going to go by the Ben Shapiro standards, all the credible evidence, this guy is about as dirty as they come. Then, should he not resign? I don't hear anybody, not even on the right, calling for this guy to resign. So I'm just saying, if we're going to be fair and take the moral high road here, is it not time for Menendez to step aside? I think so.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
There is one thing to say about the whole sexual scandals that are going on now, and that is that what we have seen in Alabama has definitely ensured that if you are a conservative and or a Republican running for office, that you are going to have to face down sexual allegations. Look, they've nuclear weaponized this whole thing. They weaponize a lot of stuff, Rod. They've nuclear weaponized this. So much that we even have some people on the right who say if it's a credible accusation, whether the accusation is true or not, if it just sounds credible, then you should bow out. This is why I don't agree with Ben Shapiro on Roy Moore. I don't agree with it at all. Now, I realize that Shapiro is also... Ben Shapiro really is a never-Trumper. He's that... look, I get it. There are a lot of real conservatives out there who are anti-Trumpers. And I believe Shapiro is one of them. Yeah, by the way, I understand when he was a kid, he was a masterful violinist. Is that true of Ben Shapiro? I've never heard him play. I don't know. Is that true of him? And by the way, Ben Shapiro is a real Jew, too. I mean, he's a real practicing Jew. But that has nothing to do with his conservatism or his call for... He doesn't consider Donald Trump to be a racist or anti-Semitic. Well, look what Donald Trump just did with Israel. Are you going to tell me that Donald Trump... I'm surprised. There are people out there that are probably going to say that... See, Donald Trump making Jerusalem and recognizing it as the eternal capital of Israel proves that he's anti-Semitic. How's that? Because he knows that everybody's going to hate Israel even more. Yeah, I heard that yesterday. I'm like, you must be some kind of special idiot. How convoluted do you think that people can be? Well... I guess if you're used to Democrats that you would, and Obama, I suppose that could be the case, but not with Trump. I mean, for crying out loud, his daughter married a Jew and converted to Judaism. He's got a son-in-law that's a Jew by birth and a daughter that's a Jew by conversion. How the hell is he hating on Jews? I don't. These people will think of anything just to hate on Donald Trump. It's amazing stuff. It really is. But I look at these people and I look at them in wonderment and amazement. And I look simply because if you actually believe that, how is it that you're not walking around with a bib to wipe up your drool from your mouth? You're drooling idiots. What I heard Donald Trump. The reason why Donald Trump is because he hates Jews. That's why he's recognizing and moving the embassy to Jerusalem. He's moving the embassy to Jerusalem because he hates Jews. That's a new one. I wish I was making that stuff up, folks. Again, you can't make this stuff up. I can't. I'm not that creative. But. In any case, but they've definitely taken this whole sexual accusation thing to a new level, and they've weaponized it. So you got to be careful. Because you're going to have to defend yourself even when you shouldn't have to.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better, at nih.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, your lovable host, L-Rod, coming to you live from the Bunkerized Studio, located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. Yes, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here, powered by Zinc Media Arts. Glad that you are here on this Thursday, December number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017. The year is winding down quickly. Almost halfway through the month of December, which means you only got about 2 weeks or so left of the wonderful, fabulous year, fantastic year that is 2017. It's going to go down in history as a good year. When the U.S. was on the way back. The problem is will Americans like the response and the return to sanity and morality, real morality? Or will we vote it out in 2018? I mean, that's the real question. But there are a lot of people coming forward now with a lot of it. This is the other thing is, now I don't have any stories today on this, but I'm sure I could go find some credible stuff where we really need, because there are some accusations down there in Alabama about voter fraud, and there have been a number of people that have noticed a particular pattern of Democrats this new millennia, this new century. And it seems like the last places that seem to now in this day and age when we have all the instantaneous technology, but it seems it's still in this day and age the last places to report their final numbers always seem to be Democratic strongholds, which leaves a lot of people to speculate. They're trying to figure out how many votes they need to come up with in order to create a win. Well, the same thing happened down in Alabama. The places that were, heavily black populated or heavily Democratic populated enclaves down there in Alabama were the last to report their final results. This is the same thing that happened during the presidential election too. Some of the counties and precincts in some of these states that are heavily Democratic, they were the last to do their reporting, their final numbers. They were trying their damnedest to see what they need. Why is it that if you're on the left, why do you feel you need to cheat? Why do you think you feel you need to fake it? Because you don't like the possibility of Americans, the vast majority of American people not liking or wanting your ideas? Do you think you can stop the American people from not using your crap or wanting to believe in your crap? You think you can force them into doing that? No, of course you can't. But that is, look, if you want to live in an enclave where liberalism is all the rage, and just move to New York City or New York State or move to California. Well, look. I'm telling you to move because there's plenty of places for you to go to because a lot of people are leaving those places. And a lot of people, look at Massachusetts. A lot of Massachusettsans or Massachusettsites are moving into New Hampshire. New Yorkers are fleeing New York for places like New Hampshire, Florida, and Texas. Californians are fleeing to places like Texas. And please stop traveling 3,000 miles to come here to New Hampshire if you're from California. I mean, honestly, really, keep your liberal West Coast liberal crap over there. Move to Washington State then. Notice how these liberal enclave places where you have liberals fleeing their own liberal state. Connecticut, where are they going? Connecticut people who keep voting for these liberal idiots who keep raising their taxes and chasing business out. Where are Connecticut businesses and residents moving to? Massachusetts. Because Massachusetts is what? Less stupid than Connecticut right now. So that's what you should be doing. If you're from California, move to New York. Don't export or move to, if you want to stay on the West Coast and move to Washington State, don't export your crap here. That's what I'm saying. And speaking of exporting their crap, California considers placing a mileage tax on drivers. Why do they want to place a mileage tax on drivers? Well, because drivers are buying and driving cars that get extraordinarily high gas mileage. I know that California is still has an overburdened highway system and roadway system, and Californians still buy the big, beautiful exotic cars. There's a lot of liberal money. That's another thing. A lot of liberal money out there, and they're all buying Maseratis and Lamborghinis and stuff like, cars that get like 5 miles to the gallon. But that's okay because they can afford it. But the majority of Californians, they're buying cars that are getting better and better gas mileage, which means what? They don't have to buy as much gas, which means that wonderful gas tax that California has isn't being utilized as much. So the state needs more money for road repairs, and the gas tax just isn't bringing in enough revenue because people keep buying, they keep forcing up the average gas mileage, the average MPG. So, a person trades in a car that's 2 or 3 years old, and they're increasing their gas mileage by at least 10%. Basically, so somebody, they have a car that's about 3 years old, or the average person now, they're a little bit older maybe, but they have a car that's only getting 30 to 32 miles per the gallon. And they go out and buy a car, probably the same model, that all of a sudden is getting 35, 38 miles to the gallon. Well, that means they're not going to have to buy as much gas, are they? No, they're not. So that means that the gas tax is being utilized even less, right? Correct. So not wanting to let you off lightly for doing the right thing by buying more efficient fuel economy cars. Oh, no. We can't. The state of California, like all good liberal states, cannot allow you to keep more of your money. You're doing the right thing by saying, I want a car that's going to cost me less to operate. I'm going to buy a car that gets better gas mileage. Means I spend less in gas, which means I keep more of that money that I used to spend on gas is now in my pocket. Well, the government's saying, well, no, you can't keep that. The state recently road tested a mileage monitoring plan. The California Road Charge Pilot Program is billed as a way for the state to move from its long-standing pump tax to a system where drivers pay based on their mileage. Now, folks, if California does this, and they will do it, and they're not getting rid of the gas tax, by the way. Isn't that funny? Folks, California is going to lead the rest of this country into a pay-by-the-mile thing. You think toll booths are a sin in this country, and I think that they are. All toll booths should come down. If you think toll booths are bad, you wait until they start tacking on your mileage. It is a way for them to tell how much you drive every year. Possibly where you drive. Oh, we're going to put this device in your car. You got to have it. Really? So you're going to be taxed based on, your car registration is going to be based on how many miles you drove that year. And when people stop driving, how do you think they're going to come after you then? Oh, they're going to raise your registration fees. Some states it's already ridiculous. Try registering your car in Rhode Island or Massachusetts. Your registration on an annual basis, depending on the value of your car, could be close to $1,000 or more per year. How'd you like to get that bill? You go up to the DMV or whatever you call your motor vehicle department. You go to the DMV and say, yeah, I'm here to register my car. Oh, yeah, that'll be $1,100, please. What? No, I already paid the tax. I bought the car a year ago. I already paid it. Yeah, I know. This is your registration. What? This is a bill that people are facing in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. I kid you not. I mean, it's bad enough in my state, but we don't have a lot of other taxes here in New Hampshire. But you could easily pay $400 or $500 for your registration for 1 year. But Massachusetts and Rhode Island is worse. I don't know how people afford to drive in those states. Then they pay their high gas prices along with their high gas taxes. I don't know how they can afford to drive in certain places in this country. And now you got this nut job out there, nut jobs, plural, out there in California. And trust me, it is going to cost you plenty for it's not going to be a penny a mile, but even if it was a penny a mile, if you're a salesperson, how about you know who's going to get really hit hard? Because they're not going to let them off the hook. Would be delivery services. And I'm not talking about, a FedEx or UPS. No, just regular, your local dry cleaner who picks up and delivers your laundry and dry cleaning. How about taxing the hell out of them per mile? I mean, there's a couple of companies here in New Hampshire. One of them has taken my model. Now, I evidently didn't know what I was doing when I created this model, but they have my model. The one that I use for a company that was once called Cleaner Solutions Door-to-Door Dry Cleaning. They have my model. And they have got some 40 trucks on the road now. All over this state. Can you imagine what they'd have to pay by mile? They're on the road 5 days a week. In some cases 6, because they do some places they do Saturdays. Can you imagine what that would cost? That's ridiculous. I should be demanding 1% of their revenue. It's my model that they're using, and they say it's not. But if you read I still have a copy of my business plan from those years ago. If you read my business plan, and look at their model, it's exactly my business plan. It is. It's not copyrighted or trademarked or anything, so anybody can utilize it. But it was. Believe it or not, I created they had one company called Press for Time. They were a franchise, and nobody ever heard of them when I came along. And then all of a sudden, everybody I went to, you can do that? Yeah, you can do that. Pick up your dry cleaning. Yeah, you can. Door to at a person's office or home. Yeah, you can do that office or home. Wow. Yeah. Any case, when the kids basically, but the reason why they know about my model is because the company that they are today, they used to be a different name. The kids took over. One of the sons took over the business, but they were my dry cleaner. I contracted out dry cleaning. They were my original dry cleaner. And when they charged me too much, I moved to a different, and they tried to get me back. But I kept it. No, I get better quality at a lower price with another dry cleaner. And every month they would be calling me, what can we do to get your business back? Because I was bringing them a lot of business that they weren't getting normally. They understood what my business model was. They were not doing what I was doing. And then when their son took over, who was working there at the time that I was giving them my business, when he took over, he changed their entire business model, changed the name, and put vans on the road that matched my model. Because he just basically took my model. He stole my model. So, I mean, just good to know that I had some. And now, it's going to be difficult to break into this market in New Hampshire anyway with this. But yeah, my model. I'm not mad about it. Just saying that, I should be acknowledged for it, I guess.
Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
And yes, now it is time for our final Christmas song for today. Going back to last year, I think, is when this was first debuted here. 2 years ago from West Putnam. His version of "Oh Holy Night."
stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Led by the light of faith serenely beaming, with glowing hearts by his cradle we stand. So led by light of a star sweetly gleaming, here come the wise men from Orient land. The King of Kings lay thus in lowly manger, in all our trials, born to be our friend. He knows our need, to our weakness no stranger. Behold your King, before him lowly bend. Behold your King, before him lowly bend. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord, oh, praise his name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey.
Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. Did she? She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have.
Visit brainhealth.gov.
We got holidays today. We have today's list of holidays now, but the number of holidays today is significantly less than what it normally is. Today is Monkey Day, December 14th. It is Monkey Day, also known as Day of the Monkey, International Monkey Day, and World Monkey Day. A day that celebrates only monkeys. Yeah. So how do you celebrate today? I guess either you go get a monkey, you adopt a monkey, or you feed a monkey. Or put monkeys on as your screensaver. You just have monkeys everywhere. So today is, yes, it is Monkey Day, also a.k.a. Day of the Monkey, International Monkey Day, and World Monkey Day. It is also National Bouillabaisse Day. Now, you would think it's National Bouillabaisse Day in France. No, here in the USA. Not International Bouillabaisse, but National Bouillabaisse. What is Bouillabaisse? Well, Bouillabaisse is, I don't think I've ever eaten it. It sounds kind of nasty, but Bouillabaisse is a fish stew, which is native to Marseille, France. It's celebrated today. It literally translates, Bouillabaisse literally translates from the word bouillir, B-O-L-H-I-R, meaning to boil, and a baissar, meaning A-B-A-I-S-S-A-R, meaning to reduce heat or to simmer, which is exactly how they make bouillabaisse. First you boil it, and then you add fish and other seafood products, and then you reduce it to a simmer so it's not boiling, blah, 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 blah. It's National Bouillabaisse Day. So how do you celebrate? You go out and eat bouillabaisse for lunch or dinner. Well, it's almost lunchtime, so as soon as this program is over, you can go out there and get you some bouillabaisse. It is also Roasted Chestnut Day. Now, everybody knows the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. But let me ask you, have you ever roasted any chestnuts? Have you done it on an open fire? I tried it once, but anyway. So today is a day where you actually try to roast or toast your own chestnuts on an open fire. Or if you can't do that, any way you possibly can. Today is the day that you are to do that and celebrate the chestnut, as the day is dedicated to roasting and eating chestnuts. This is a relatively new holiday, which began in 2015. Now, some historians think that the tradition of roasting chestnuts dates back to the 16th century, when vendors sold them on the streets of Rome. They also are associated with St. Martin's Day in Portugal and St. Simon's Day in Italy. Some believe chestnut roasting got its start on those days. They are still eaten in those countries and are popular street food throughout the rest of Europe as well as East Asia, especially among the colder months. So today is Roasted Chestnut Day. So you can go to the grocery stores. Chestnuts aren't all that cheap, but you can go to the grocery store at this time of the year and buy them by the bagful, the pound, buy them by weight. You take them home and just roast them, pop them, whatever. Enjoy it. They are very good. Don't buy the chestnuts. I had this stuff that was in a bag once, like a snack food bag. They were mushy, tasteless, just gross. Don't do that. Make your own chestnuts. They end up, when you roast them, they get a little bit soft. There's a little bit of crunch still left, chewiness left to them. But they're full of flavor. Some people like it to add a little bit of garlic or salt on top of them. Just eat them plain, that's what I say. But anyway, Roast Chestnuts Day. And those are your holidays for today, December number 14. California Health. We're staying out in California. Yeah, California wants to charge you by the mile for driving. Well, California may do something else. I don't know what they're going to do other than ban them totally, but they can't ban cell phones. But maybe they'll require that people or ban people from using cell phones without a hands-free device. Period. No matter where they are, not just in your car. Cell phones against your ear. Should you consider putting it down? Now, here's the problem: the scientific community has not reached consensus on the risk of cellular phone use. Consensus. Well, folks, we got the supposed consensus on climate, right? So science is all now based on consensus. It doesn't screw scientific fact and scientific principle and scientific methods and scientific theories. No, science is now based on consensus. If you get a bunch of scientists in a room and most of them think one way, then I guess that's now science. But there is no scientific or health community consensus on the risk of cellular phone use, but the California Health Department said research suggests long-term extensive use may cause or have severe health effects. Long-term extensive use. What's long-term? How extensive? Smartphone use continues to increase in the U.S., especially among children. The problem is that most people are still not making calls with their phones. They're not putting their phone. Most people are running around with earphones on their head, not putting the phone. Why? Because they're not using their phone to make phone calls. Their smartphones are used to play games or play music or to text one another or to surf the web. Nobody's actually making a call anymore. I mean, business people might be using the phone to actually talk to people verbally on the phone. But most other people, even parents don't even really call their kids. They text them. And I guess, Instagramming and Snapchatting is becoming a preferred way of the younger generation to communicate. But the people are they're texting. But they're coming up with these so-called, they're going to come up with some consensus, and I'm sure California is going to come up with some law that's going to require people, who knows, to not use they're probably going to make sure that a phone cannot be used in call mode without a headset. That's the way they're going to go, because, hey, if you put that stupid phone up against your ear, you could die in 30 years. So if you're 60, you are, even in today's world, you're more likely to die within 30 years than not die. No, because after 30 years you're going to be 90, right? So if you're 60, so you're going to die, but they don't want it to be because of your cell phone pressed up against your ear. Because kids don't use it to call. You ever try to call a kid? Kids aren't calling anybody. They're not talking on the phone. They're texting and Instagramming and Snapchatting each other. But that's it. California, the California Health Department has that must be a huge department. It must be the only thing bigger than the California Health Department has got to be the federal health department, because so much stuff comes out of California on that stuff, health. I mean, just ridiculous. Well, that's what you get when you have such a nanny state. Speaking of health and dying early, Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson dies of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Yeah, now he's not a national representative, but a state representative. Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson, who was under investigation for alleged sexual molestation, died from a single gunshot wound to the head, according to the and I'm not making this up, according to the Bullitt County coroner. Yeah, Bullitt is the name of the county. Or is it Bullitt? Is it Bullitt County? I guess it's Bullitt. He was pronounced dead after 8 p.m. on yesterday, on December 13th. Bullitt County Sheriff Donnie Tinnell says that Johnson drove to a bridge over the Salt River on Greenwell Ford Road in Mount Washington, Kentucky. Parked on the north side of it and shot himself in front of his car. His body was found on the bank of the river just past the bridge. So he must have fell off the bridge and onto the bank. Now, he evidently, before 5 p.m. that day, yesterday, he posted a message on his Facebook page. The accusations from NPR are false. God and only God knows the truth. Nothing is the way they make it out to be. America will not survive this type of judge and jury fake news. Conservatives take a stand. I love God and I love my wife, who is the best wife in the world. My love forever, my mom and dad, my family, and all 5 of my kids and 9 grandchildren. 2 still in the tummies, and many more to come. Each of you are a total gift from God. Staying strong, Rebecca. Need you. 9/11/2001, PTSD 24/7. 16 years is a sickness that will take my life. I cannot handle it any longer. It has won this life, but heaven is my home. Please listen closely. Only 3 things I ask of you to do. If you love me, 1, blame no person. Satan is the accuser, to blame the devil himself. 2, forgive and love everyone, especially yourself. And 3, most importantly, love God. P.S. I love my friends. You are family. God loves all people, no matter what. But you can't kill yourself, dude. But that's evidently what he did. Distraught over what he calls false allegations of sexual impropriety. Now, this is what happened, by the way. The coroner said police were alerted after someone saw the representative's Facebook post. Officers then pinged his phone, but it was too late. They found his body after pinging his phone. So, you're able to be found that easily with your cell phone. He denied the molestation allegations according to court documents. I don't know how. This is the first I've heard of this. But this is what I've been telling you people about the nuclear weaponization of sexual allegations. Just throwing these allegations out there is now the way to get rid of political opponents. Look, it evidently worked on Roy Moore. So now you're going to see more of this. Are you going to get more people who are going to take their own lives because they can't deal with the accusation? Because it seems like once an accusation is levied, you're guilty of the charge, even if you're later proven to be innocent. Which is stupid, because you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law, not in the court of a court of public opinion. And not by mere accusations. I love it when people say, well, he got arrested, didn't he? Did he get arrested for that? You can be arrested for anything. Doesn't matter. You can look at a police officer wrong and he can arrest you and find something to charge you with. We know that this has happened plenty of times in the past. Not knocking the police, but I'm just saying you can be arrested at any time for just about anything, even when you're not doing anything wrong. Illegal. You can still be arrested. Arresting doesn't mean jack. Even charges don't, being officially charged with something doesn't really mean anything. How many people are charged with a crime, but the state or the government failed to prove their case that the person was guilty, or by some hook or crook, it was proven that they couldn't have been the criminal. But people still believe, well, he's guilty anyway. Why? Because somebody accused you? This is, again, Ben Shapiro. You can't go by the tone of credible allegations. Because any allegation can be construed as being credible. Are you supposed to resign or kill yourself and then later find out that the allegations were made up, lie, false, or they got the wrong person? That happens a lot too. Yeah, I mean, we're still letting people out of jail on sexual charges and rape charges after DNA 2 decades, 3 decades later proves that they could not have been the perpetrator. So don't get me started on this credible allegation. It's a bunch of bunk. And now people are starting to take their lives over this. Well, that proves that he did it. No, it doesn't prove that he did it. It proves that evidently this guy suffered PTSD anyway. He's I don't know. He didn't say in the story if he was. I think he was in the military. If I get the story correct, but in any case, there were issues that he was having, and this was just one of those things that put him over the top, I guess. You can't do that to people. Oh, but Democrats can because they've just weaponized sexual allegations.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
The deal is on, evidently. It was announced that Disney will buy Fox Media for some $52 billion in a stock swap. The deal has a total value of approximately $66.1 billion. So where is...
Fox Films and its TV.
I don't know where that's coming from, but anyway, let's stop that stuff. Disney to buy 21st Century Fox assets in a deal worth more than $52 billion in stock. The deal has a total value of $66.1 billion, with Disney assuming $13.7 billion in Fox's net debt. Bob Iger will remain Disney's chairman and CEO through the end of 2021. The Disney-Fox deal will give Disney more content when it launches its own streaming service. Yes, Disney is about to launch its own Netflix type of service, so Netflix may lose more content, but the company has already made moves to create more of its own content. Netflix has actually become its own studio or network, as it were, in lieu of realizing that it could lose some of its content coming from other sources like Disney. So now they may lose some Fox stuff as well. So it's going to acquire parts of 21st Century Fox, a.k.a. 20th Century Fox, for a little over $52 billion with a value of over $66 billion. The company will get Fox's movie studios, networks, Nat Geo and FX, Asian pay TV operators Star TV and stakes in Sky, Endemol, Shine Group, and Hulu, as well as regional sports networks. Now, really, I didn't know Hulu was partly owned by Fox. I didn't know it was a Fox entity. I learned something new. Well, all of that's about to change. If Disney takes over, I don't know if Fox News the way we know it is that in trouble? It could be, folks. I'm not going to lie to you about that. It very well could be. The deal leaves open the possibility of the rest of the Fox assets not already under this agreement could go at some later date to Disney. So in other words, all of 21st century, aka 20th Century Fox properties could be heading over to Disney. Not a good deal, actually, in my book. It's not. No, don't get me. I like Disney films, but it's not a good thing, especially if you're leaving Iger in charge of everything. Verizon has made some moves too. Finally, today, Verizon announced Monday that it has signed an unprecedented deal with the NFL that allows it to live stream all in-market and national NFL football games on Verizon-owned media properties like Yahoo Sports and AOL, and on mobile phones, even if you're not a Verizon customer on that mobile phone. I don't know why they'd want to do that, seeing how that that ratings for the NFL are down by as much as 30 to 40% in that in-game or in stadium tickets or seating is down by as much as 50% for some teams. I don't know why Verizon want to waste their money doing it. They got to wait for the NFL to get their viewers back. 30% drop in viewership is a lot. So nobody's going to be, well, maybe that's why they did it, because nobody's going to be watching. So they're not going to have to spend a whole lot of money on bandwidth by offering the NFL, live streaming NFL games all over the place, because nobody's watching the NFL anymore. The NFL games are going to, we're really going to see how bad the NFL does when it comes time for the Super Bowl. If the Super Bowl's domestic viewership goes down, then you know the NFL is in some real serious trouble. And I don't know, maybe this is why Goodell has inked his extension of his contract now before those numbers came in. Anyway, we're out of time for today. Tomorrow we will be back in about 21 hours for Open Mic Freedom Friday. Just about anything goes. And we'll cover a lot more stuff that we didn't get to earlier in the week. Until then, have a wonderful Thursday afternoon. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.